Hi, everyone. Saludos. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here getting ready for one of our Bella interviews. I'm really happy and excited to have Monica Garcia here with OG Juicers. Bienvenida.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to share and talk.
Yes, we're so excited to get to know your story. We were just sharing before we actually pressed the record button with Monica that we had to reschedule this interview. And so I really appreciate your just flexibility and your willingness to share your vulnerability, to just get to know you a little bit more. We know that times right now are not the most blissful or pleasant, right? Everything that's been happening in our communities. There's a lot going on. And we want to make sure that we acknowledge that, right? And that
Right.
we honor every space that everyone is in. So if you're listening to this interview, you're watching this interview, we also just want to say that we're with you, that we're here to share stories like Monica's to inspire and to remind us that we all have a story to share and it's worth sharing and that we're all connected to each other. So, with that, Monica, let's just get down to business, girl. We wanted you to tell us a little bit about you and who you are. So, what would we want to know about Monica?
Let's see. So Monica is a new mom. I'm recently a new mom. My baby's about to be 10 months in a couple of days, and
Yeah.
it's gone by so fast, so fast. So I'm just kind of finding a balance between like motherhood and running a business, and it's been tough. It's been really tough because I want to quit the business and just, focus full time on being a mom, but then it's like, who's gonna pay the bills? But yeah, so I have a juice business and been going on 10 years this year already.
Wow.
Yes, it's 10 years. I know.
When's the
How
party? Are
funny.
we
10
invited?
months into I'm thinking already. I'm like, okay, should I do something? March was the anniversary date, so I'm like, I can still do something. I thought like, oh, it already passed, but no, technically it's so yeah, I am something's working. Like, I'm thinking I'm
No
gonna
pressure,
do
no pressure. I'm just saying, nos
yeah.
invitas a la fiesta, that's all.
Well, I was even thinking, when co during COVID, it was personally for me for OG Juices, it was one of our best years because we were already doing deliveries. So I have a
Oh.
3-day cleanse juice delivery service. And then a lot of businesses in that time became a delivery service,
Mhm.
delivering to homes. Us, we were already on the road. So long story short, I ended up creating markets at my home because I have the space and inviting like other small businesses that weren't doing as well to vend and sell their products and whatnot. And I've actually been thinking like maybe the OG Juice 10-year celebration could be a big market. And then
Oh,
I could charge a vendor fee, which I never did before. And then we could maybe use those funds to help out, buy a vendor or help out a family in need or something. So
love it.
that is OG Juices as well. I'm very big on like just bringing women together, businesses together. I love to network. OG Juices is big on networking and just being united and helping each other out. So it's more than just juices. It's about community for sure. So
I love that. So
yeah,
actually, I'm curious about, so you say 10 years, because I think 10
yeah,
years is that's like most of my daughter's life, at
yeah,
10 years. And I
yeah.
think there's so much, I'm
So
sure, that
much.
has happened from when like you first started your business to now, and like all the
Mm.
in-betweens and the ebbs and flows and probably the tears, but also probably the laughs and the joyous moments. So can you like kind of walk us through that a little bit? I'm just curious about like how has kind of the business evolved from like when you first started, or maybe it's still
Yeah,
pretty much the same, right? Like, can you share a
yeah.
little bit?
I have to say, I think what has really evolved has been me personally and like
Mm,
inner work,
yeah.
finding value within myself
Yeah.
and what I'm offering and what I offer.
Mhm.
Because I when I started, it hit like it just
Mm.
I was making juices for myself, and these all the juices are my recipes. Like I made them in my kitchen, trial and error. They're made with a lot of love, and people loved them, and I was like, okay, I wanted everyone to have them. So that was one of my issues. So I was like only charging enough to, have enough to make the product and then get it out and then do it again. I
Yeah.
wasn't really making enough to,
Mm.
do extra stuff for myself.
Yeah.
And so I kind of struggled with that for a couple of years. I was successful, but I was like, okay, I'm not really paying myself. I'm not, I wasn't moving. I was able to quit my 9 to 5, but I was still
Wow.
stagnant like for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I think like within like 5 years, like halfway through the business, I was like,
Mhm.
no, something has to change. Like, and it's got to be within me. Like, finding my worth, and I started reading a lot of self-help books. I started joining healing circles and just putting involving myself more in community and surrounding myself with mujeres who were doing the same thing, and a lot of them were telling me, no, you got to charge what it is, girl. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like, and I was big on giving back too, and I was like, yeah, you're right, then I could give more. So that motivated me to like, no, I'm gonna charge what it is, and I'm gonna charge more. So I did. I increased my prices. And you know what? People supported it. Like people
Yeah.
still stuck with me. I have like that's why I call them my OGs. Like I have people that have been with me literally since 2015 that are still like, girl,
Wow.
we're gonna ride with you. Like the wheels fall off. I'm like, so that for sure is just learning that inner like healing of myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important for every entrepreneur, every business, every mother, every whatever field you're in, it doesn't even have to be just business, but like learning to value yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's
Yeah.
definitely it happens regardless of whether we realize it or not,
Mhm.
regardless of whether it's conscious or not. I think like as you go through your business, it
Mhm.
changes you. And
Mhm.
we like to think that it changes you for the better, right? Because even though sometimes could feel really hard, right?
Mhm.
I think all of that is strengthening us as human
Mhm.
beings. And I think in your case, you talked about a lot about self-worth and kind of really understanding like, you deserve to be paid. It's a business, right? And you left your 9 to 5 for this. And so it needs to, right? It needs to pay you back. And
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, I think the more that you make, the more you can give back. There's definitely
Yeah.
could be that balance too, right?
Mhm.
Where I think
Mhm.
sometimes, and I don't know if you feel this way, but I know I've talked with other women about almost like a guilt. Like if you
Yeah.
like, well, I'm receiving too much and I'm not giving back enough, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, who sets that for ourselves? We do,
Exactly.
right? Like
Exactly.
no one's telling us like you should. Well, there's sometimes people around us that tell us you
Yeah.
should, but right? It's like we're putting that pressure on ourselves. So I think
Exactly.
your journey of self-discovery and all of that, I think is something that a lot of folks experience and some
Mhm.
folks acknowledge and others maybe don't. But I think it's so beautiful, like you shared as you kind of grew with your business.
Yes, uh-huh. And just
So
like, yeah, just knowing like I'm deserving enough to, and I have really felt with, like I guess more of like a faith-based with
yeah.
God, like just trusting, anytime I've given more, it's like it just comes back, and it's like it happens. You just got to stay faithful and just do it. It just,
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's hard to
trust.
trust and
I
it's hard
know.
to release, I think there's a lot again pressure and I've heard folks also share a lot about like the loneliness in the journey,
Mhm.
right? Because I think when you're in a 9 to 5 job, like you come into a space that's already been where there's multiple people usually, right? It's kind of a
Mhm.
well-oiled machine. But when you're
Yeah.
starting a business, you're creating that culture. You're creating those processes. You're creating that
Mhm.
messaging. Like it all kind of falls on the owner and the founder, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes that pressure can get to us, right? And so
Yeah.
um, I think it's important. And you're also a multitude of different identities. So you mentioned motherhood. I love that. I would love for you to kind of expand a little more too on like your motherhood, mamapreneur journey, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of women out there that have kids, both littles and maybe kids that are already out of the house. But regardless, I feel like that adds a layer to the journey of the business is the motherhood piece, right? And how
Mhm.
that has shaped you more recently, because I know your little one's,
Right.
he's not a teenager.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but could you
Oh,
share a little bit about that?
yeah. It was scary at first. Like, and I remember I made juices until the last day I had him. Like the night before I had him, I
Wow.
was making an order. was
Oh my
like, I
God.
didn't want to stop. I love it. It's something I love to do, and I didn't want to stop, but I did. And then I remember telling myself, like, okay, I'm gonna take a good 2.5 to 3 months off,
Mm,
with
mm,
him once he's a newborn, and he was born last year in October. And I remember my goal was, okay, January, I'm gonna be back in full force. Like, it's a busy month. Like, I want to be there, I want to be present. And no, by the end of November, I was like, let's go. And I just, you know what, I showed up with him. I take him everywhere. I
mhm.
just, even if he's not allowed or invited, I'm like, oh well, I'm just bringing him with me. Like, so, and that's been my attitude too, along with the business throughout the year, is just kind of showing up, taking risks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I did that. I do that a lot with him. I'm like, we show up together. Now we're a team.
Oh.
No, yeah. So instead of like, oh, how am I going to do this without him? Or
Mm,
am I going to be able to run this without him? Am I going to get a babysitter? No, he's going to come with me and we're going to figure it out. So we've been figuring out things together and just by showing up. Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I love that. It's like unapologetic.
Like,
Just he's a
here
part
we
of me.
are. Take us or take
Yeah.
us out.
I think that's so important because, and I love how you're not, sometimes we see things in our life as barriers,
Yeah.
right? Like as child, like, oh, like, how can I do this with this going
Right.
on or with this happen? In this case, like, I need a babysitter. I have like, what do I do about childcare? You're like, you know what? I got my own solution. Vente, vámonos. We're
Let's
going,
go.
put you in the carrier, the stroller, we're out for a delivery. Like, I'm not letting that. No, you are a blessing. You
Mm,
are going to come enjoy this full beauty of my business that I have that I also love, and we're
mm.
going to do it together. So I love that attitude, just that energy that you bring. And I know you're inspiring women right now to do the
I
same.
hope so. Yes,
Yes,
just show up. It's not gonna hold you back. It's not gonna stop you. It's not, you keep going no matter what.
yes. I love it. I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
So take me back a little bit. So I know we dove into kind of the business and kind of how it's evolved, but let's take kind of several steps back. And I want to hear about Monica growing up.
Yes.
So who were you as like a child, a teenager into young adulthood, and what were your aspirations then? And do you see some of that still holding true today? Or how has your journey through childhood, adolescence, and that shaped who you are today as a mom,
Yeah.
as a business owner, as a Latina woman, as all of your beautiful identities?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I don't think I've never been asked that question. I think it's such a beautiful question. And I have to say, as a child, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My mom and dad
Mhm.
both entrepreneurs. So I was home alone a lot. I was a latchy kid. What do they call them?
Yeah, latchkey.
My brother and my sister and I, there's three of us. So at a very young age, I learned to really like take care of myself and to be independent. And I love that. I remember at the time I hated it. Like I'm always by myself, but I now as an adult, I love it because it really taught me a lot. And I remember when I was little, like 5, saying, I want a smoothie shop. Like I
Mm.
want to, just have a shop where I sell smoothies. Isn't that funny? And then and
You
then
were foretell, what is it? That word
yeah, yeah.
foreshadowing
It's
or
like, I remember saying like
manifesting.
I want a smoothie shop. And then and I always knew I didn't like school. Growing up, like elementary school, I didn't like school. I'd never liked being told what to do. Like it wasn't that I didn't like the work, I just didn't like the person telling me. Just don't want
You're
to
like, leave me
see
alone.
me. Leave me alone. So I always knew too, like I want to work for myself. Like I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want anybody telling me. And then I was a little bit of a rebel in high school. I kind of rebelled a lot because I was that independent. Then my parents were trying to set boundaries, and I was like, no, you guys have been gone for 15 years. I've been doing things
Yeah.
on my own. So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of gave them a hard time. But they love me.
Of course they do.
And then right after high school, I got a 9 to 5 because I didn't like school. I didn't go into college. But I started working for a human resources company
Mhm.
or for a company, and I was working in human resources. And there I learned so much about business, about payroll, about accounting,
Yeah.
about all the things. And I was like, I can do this. I felt like I was running their department, like with
Yeah.
employees and stuff. And I remember I did that for 7 years. And then OG Juices started, and then yeah, the rest is history. But I had all that background that really helped me to get to today.
I love it. I love all that energy, that kind of creativity, that, pushing forward, that leadership
Yeah,
qualities and skills that you had as a child, because that's what it is. You knew what
yeah,
you wanted, you were determined, you came to that department, you were a leader, you were doing all the tasks and projects and feeling confident about yourself.
right,
And I think all of those things come together right when it's
right.
time for that business to be created, because it's not easy to start a business. It's not easy to carry the business through. I mean, 10 years is a huge accomplishment, and I think you mentioned a lot about like your community has also supported you, and I think it is about that, like
Mhm,
expanding and taking those risks like you mentioned as well. And I see, as I'm hearing your story, I hear a lot of those qualities and just kind of the experiences you had growing up and
mhm.
how they could really support kind of the growth and
Yeah,
sustainment of you and your business. So
yeah.
I thank you for sharing that. And women that are listening, or all folks that are listening, take some time to reflect about
Mhm.
your childhood and your growing up. Like you
Mhm.
said, that's not a question that you've been asked before,
No.
but when we take a step back to pause and kind of really think about
Like,
that, it's
oh,
really shaped kind of where you are. And I think more than anything, it gives space to celebrate and acknowledge and honor the
mm,
human being you've become and that you are today because of those experiences, right?
I know
So
it heals that inner child, like, oh, okay, like
yeah.
I'm proud of you. You did good.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Be proud of
yeah.
yourself. And all of those experiences, happen for a reason, and they're bringing you to where you are today. And
Mhm.
yeah, I see all of that come together. So it's really beautiful. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing your
yeah.
story.
You.
So you did talk about how you were doing kind of the juices for yourself and then you
Mhm.
wanted to share them, but you could take me back a notch from that
Mhm.
actually. So I know you mentioned the smoothies kind of growing up. Like where was it when for you the concept of like juicing became something for you, like in your life? Like do you remember that moment or
Oh
that
yeah.
time?
I was really struggling with like eye infections at the time, like a lot of eye
Mm,
infections and
yeah.
always get catching a cold or a flu, like always being sick.
Hmm.
And then my friend Mercy, an old friend of mine from high school, she told me about juicing. I mean, she took me under her wing. She took me to the farmers market. We remember we got a big cart and we filled it up with fruits and vegetables. And I was like, I haven't never eaten half of these things because again, I grew up on frozen foods, like whatever was left for us to eat, So
Yeah.
I would eat fast food all the time, like a bunch of junk, easy stuff, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, yeah. She was like, you know what, you're gonna do a cleanse. Like you're just gonna drink all these juices for a week and watch, you're gonna feel better and you're gonna get well and you're not gonna be sick anymore. And I was like, okay, I was ready. I was so ready for change. I was so tired of being
Yeah.
sick. And I did. I made myself
Mhm.
juices. I played around with different fruits and vegetables, and I did 5 days of pure juices. Oh my God. Like, not only did I lose 15 pounds in one
Wow.
week,
Wow.
I like my state of mind and the mental clarity that I felt was just the energy that I felt was just like whoosh, like life changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember even like the look in my eyes, like it's just I was like, wow, like this is amazing. So I kept doing it. I kept doing it. I started doing it for 3 days, like every week. Every
Mhm.
week I would do it Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And I just like was doing it and it just started to change my life for the best. Yeah, and then once friends and family started asking, then that's when I was like, oh, people are interested. And they were like, can you make them for me? And I was like, well, yeah, just pay for the produce. And I got you. Like, I'll make them. I was recycling jars at the time. So I would like save all the jars to the peanut butter and jelly or the tomato sauce or whatever it
Oh,
was.
wow.
And I would give them their juices in jars. Like, here you go. Here, gonna do this for 3 days, It's $40, whatever, like for the
Yeah.
produce. Um, and then their lives started to change, and I was like, oh, like, something. I was like, okay, so, and I remember my mom told me she's a realtor. She started taking them to her real estate office,
Mhm.
and sorry, and she was like, they're asking about them. You should make a pamphlet and you should, name your juices. I had like 5 juices that I would make, like a green one, a red one, a yellow one. I think I had 2 green actually. And she was like, you should give them a name, dale su nombre, ponle algo ahí. And I was like, okay. So I did. I remember I made a pamphlet for her real estate office and she
Wow.
went and then I got orders and then
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I started taking orders for the weekends on Sundays. Like it was like a
Mhm.
Sunday thing. Like, oh, all week I would take orders for Sunday. And then Sunday morning me la pasaba en la cocina all day, like just cook, making the juices. And then Sunday night I would do deliveries. Boom, boom, boom everywhere. And then I remember like it was quick, Rocio, like in a couple weeks, I was making more money on Sundays than my Monday through Friday 9 to 5. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, I was like, okay, like this is good. Like I can do this. I can,
Yeah.
you know, cover what I need and cover the basics. And so yeah, that
That
was
is
it for
so
me.
amazing.
And I loved it. I loved seeing people's at that time even like I loved seeing people's transformations along with mine.
Yeah.
Because I would see them and then I'd see them 3 days later or whatever. They'd be like, oh my God. I was like, right, isn't it amazing? Like, you feel so good. So that was really fun. And I think that's what really sparked something in me.
Yeah, and I love how it's connected to your back to your well-being again. You
Yeah.
talk about, your health and how you were feeling and how it's
Mhm.
transformed. I love that word, how it's transformed you and those around you. And so I think it really is, uh, a healing, a business that really values healing. And
Yeah.
that's kind of at the core, right? One of the things at the core of your business
Mhm.
is um just healing that, like, I think physically, but I am a big
Mhm.
believer that your physical is connected to your mental health, your
Oh yeah.
emotional health, like everything is so interconnected. And I love what I heard was kind of this timeline or this pathway, right? Like you had a mentor, you had someone that really inspired you and
Mhm.
encouraged you to think of something new, to look at this kind of new opportunity, right? And then from there, you took it upon to, okay, well, what can I do with it? I love this. I'm going to do it for me. And now I want to share it with the world. So I think the pathway that it showed too, this is why I know I've heard lots of folks share, like, it's so important to find a mentor and it's so important to find, and sometimes it's not a formality. Like a mentor can be anyone in our life.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to go look for a mentor somewhere. Who wants to sign up and be my mentor, right? It's more, usually it happens more naturally, right? It's a confidant, it's a friend, it's a family
Your
member, someone
kids,
that we
even like
trust.
how you were saying your kids earlier, like
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Your own children, right, can mentor you
Mhm.
through some things. And so yeah, I think it's important to do that. And sometimes that's what we need to kind of give us
Yes.
that boost, right, to the next phase of our life or the next
Right.
level we
And that's
want
why I'm so big on community and so big on networking and just staying very close to everyone.
to. Yeah.
Because you just never know who you're gonna meet, who, you're gonna cross paths with and who's gonna encourage you and who you
Mhm.
can encourage. And, I always say stay a student. I'm always a student. Always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And so if you had to share with us what is the purpose? Like what is the main purpose or mission of your business? And again, that could be different from when you first started to now, but as you see your
Yeah.
business now, what would that be?
Yeah, having an available, like a healthy option out there for everyone. Yeah, just that experience of that, like, clear mind of feeling good. That's my purpose, is to be able to be accessible to our local community and to be able to provide something that is fresh, good, natural, organic. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I love
yeah,
that's all about that is community. I think is
yeah.
that healing together, growing together,
Healing
feeling
together.
good together.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah.
And so I know, I mentioned before the business journey, the entrepreneurial journey is not an easy one. And
Yeah.
so if you could think back to some of the struggles you had or have, could be present as a business owner with your business now, what were some of those struggles that you encountered?
Mhm.
And like, how did you overcome those or how did you kind of push through those or navigate that?
Yeah. I think my biggest one for sure is going back to one of the first questions you asked me was about just finding value in
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, I really struggled. It took me like 5 years to really and what helped was the books, reading, taking classes, listening to TED Talks, signing up for seminars. Um, And also, something that really helped me was I remember on Instagram being very intentional with who I was following. So I was
Mm,
following other juice businesses, other mujeres that were doing it, or even if it wasn't juice, if it was
mhm,
something else, and then pulling inspiration from them, like, oh, they're doing it, like
mm.
I can do it too. So just being very intentional with who I was surrounding myself with, that really helped me too.
Yeah, that's important. I think there's so much, again, noise, good and bad out there. And
Yeah.
it's easy to go down a spiral. And
Mhm.
so we need to just, I want to say with care, right? Like with
Right.
care, we need to think about what we allow in and
Mhm.
who we allow in because it does shape our thinking and of ourselves and just of
Mhm.
our outlook in life. So, um, and that's, I think, would you say that that's something you feel like you kind of have a good, I don't want to say a good, maybe like you feel like you have a healthy outlet? Like if you were to come back to maybe a space like that where you're feeling like maybe not worthy or what, do you feel like you have the tools and resources where you could go back and be like, I'm going to work through this? Or do you think that it's still gonna, could still constantly be a struggle? And the reason I ask is because again, in conversations we've had with
Yeah.
women, it creeps up sometimes
Oh,
that
yeah,
right
it
doubt
never
and all of
it
that.
never goes away.
Yeah.
It's always there. Um,
Yeah.
but over time, I have proven to myself that if I just push forward, if I just show up,
Mm,
that's gonna go away.
yeah.
So like, I always tell a lot of mujeres that are just starting, I'm like, just show up, just do it, trust me. Like
Yeah.
it gets easier. It gets easier because life starts to prove to you that it's gonna work out
Yeah. It's
if you
like
keep
almost holding
showing
on.
up. There's no losses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like holding on to what's good, right? I feel like sometimes we focus on the things that aren't good or the
right,
negative things that happen and
right.
that
It's just
we
like
allow that.
retraining, rewiring, like it's an everyday battle. It's an everyday like, but no, today's gonna be a good day. Even if it's not, it doesn't feel like it. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I love it. The affirmations, the talking to yourself
yeah,
positively,
yeah. Every day.
gratitude.
Gratitude. Sometimes I'm just like, I just literally will sit and just say thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know. And then things start to come to mind and I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. Oh yeah. And then I'm there for 20 minutes. And then I feel better.
Like I want to let go of this. I'm gonna stay right
Yeah.
here.
Then I
I
have my
love
son pulling on me like, okay, mom.
It's like you had your time. Come on. I have needs, mom. That's so funny. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think it's important to lift that up
Yeah.
because it's a constant, definitely. So a question I have around what you see for like the future of OG juices. So what do you see yourself like what's your vision for the future with your business? Where do you see
Yeah.
yourself?
Oh, that's a good question too. That's where I'm at right now in my journey. I'm like, okay, I'm 10 years in, like what's next? In the past I've been offered to sell wholesale at markets like Whole Foods or Sprouts,
Oh wow, nice.
but then that would take a bigger crew, bigger machinery,
Yeah.
just and I like making the juices in small batches. I love making them. I'm not ready to step away from, you know, or
Yeah.
am I, right? Like, or
Yeah.
do I need to get over that fear too and just do it?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now. So it's kind of hard to answer that. I have always visualized though being like the next Amazon to where there's like little OG juice mobiles, like
Ah,
20 of them. They're just like zoom, zoom. They just out
yeah.
of the warehouse and they just go.
The robots that go out on their
Yeah,
own
like
and just take
little like
deliveries.
do, 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 do. I do see that happening. But then again, that would take me getting out, and so that's where I'm at right now, just like working on letting go and trusting that I could train an entire crew. I do have people that help me right now, but it's not fully.
Yeah.
They're prepping or they're a little
Yeah.
stuck. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's just getting over a little bit of that fear and just kind of figuring out what's next. But definitely growing the business and being able to ship. So right now I do get a lot of requests for, can you ship to New York? Can you,
Oh
ship
wow.
up north? So kind of figuring that out. I would
Yeah.
love to be able to
Yeah, because you
ship.
gotta think about the way you make them, right? They're I would
They're
think that
so
they need to be, like,
fresh, like
refrigerated. Yeah, like, they couldn't.
refrigerated. I remember during COVID, I have a cousin that lives up north. I froze them and I shipped them to her because she was sick and I was like, you need this. But the shipping was $100. I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
but I didn't care. I sent them to her. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, that's not realistic. People aren't gonna
right.
pay. The packet is $100 and then you're gonna pay no, like
Yeah,
so but I'm sure there's a way because there's other businesses that do it. So
right.
right.
Yeah, no, I think it's what I'm hearing is like a combination of maybe a little bit of fear in there, but also not
Yeah.
wanting to lose kind of the core of why you started and why you exist, right? It's like you love putting the attention and care into the creating and the making of the juices yourself.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a firm believer on like timing, right? So I think it's like not rushing anything when it
Mhm.
feels like if it feels right the way it is, not putting that unnecessary pressure on ourselves to say like, yeah,
Mhm.
because I want this or I visualize this in the future, like I should be doing something about it now.
Right.
It's like, no, not necessarily. Like you can maybe in 2, 3 years you're ready to start really
Yeah.
like actualizing that, right? And
Yeah.
it's okay to carry it as a vision for now, like as a
Right.
goal that you want or whatnot. But right now, I'm content. There's a way
Right.
to grow and scale without
Right.
having to do it that way, right? Through those vehicles.
Right.
But I think it's all about, yeah, it takes discernment and it takes a lot of
Yeah.
reflection. So I think that
Yeah.
that's definitely the work, it
Yeah.
sounds like,
So
right?
I'm like, I feel like I'm relearning all over again. Like I'm back to where I was when I started. Like,
Yeah.
like, okay, now we got to get over this new fear. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why don't you want to move?
Yeah, and I think that's I've seen like frameworks like that where it's almost like the cycle of business. There's some that are
Yeah.
very like I've seen one where it's like a seed and it grows into a tree, right? It's kind of like, oh, you're gonna grow, you grow, you grow, and then maybe you sell your business or whatever and you start a new one. But I've seen the ones that are like cyclical, like it's a circle. Like you're here,
Yeah.
you're growing, you know what? I'm almost starting over.
Yeah.
I go
Yeah.
right back to where I was. And I feel like that's it's okay. Like that's
Yeah.
everyone's journey is different, and that's where you are right now. And so I could see that. I could see that as you're sharing kind of like what you're wanting to do and kind of where you are now, that it is, you're almost like relearning and having to
Yeah.
kind of think about things differently. But
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, awesome. Well, of course, I wish you all the best with all of that, whichever road
Thank
you decide
you.
to take when you decide to take it. But as we kind of close our time together, I wanted to just give you also the opportunity to share like those words of wisdom that you have, that advice that you have for other rising Latina emprendedoras, like women that are out there thinking about starting their business or just starting out. What words of wisdom would you have for them?
Yeah, I would say don't wait until you're ready. Like you're never gonna be ready. Just do it. Just start early. Don't ever think that you're too small, or don't be afraid to sh take up space. Show
Mm,
up and take up space and just own, what you're doing and what you have to offer, and then just have faith in that and own that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, those are definitely strong words of wisdom that we hope all of our audience, all those that are listening to this interview, take away. Thank you for sharing that. Last thing, just how to find you. Like this is your chance to kind of promote yourself and your business, right?
Yay.
Like how can they support you? How can we all support you? And what is
Yes.
that
So
information?
big on Instagram, so OG Juicers, and then website is ogjuices.co. So I do need more activity on the website, so go visit the website ogjuices.co.
Yes, and I think you
Yeah,
definitely motivated people to think about
I
clean
hope so.
beauty, and hopefully they'll find you with this and all the other wonderful things you're doing. Thank you for always centering community and always bringing that light to community and the importance of connection and being together and supporting each other. So, Monica, it's been a real pleasure. I'm sad to have to
I know, me
turn
too.
our time off together.
It was so
But
nice to catch up with you. Thank
yes, it was so
you.
nice to see you. And for those of you that are listening, thank you so much. We know you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and we really look forward to seeing you next time. And have a wonderful day, everybody. Gracias.
Bye.